one in unity? All right, here we go. Come on and put your hands together. All together we're going to sing We Are One. Stand up on your feet. The lyrics are up on the screen. And we're going to rock it out. Y'all tired? Come on, get up on your feet. Here we go.
We are one in the spirit. We are one in love. We are one in the spirit. We are one. There's one love above us all. One love in us all. One love through us all. We are one. Yes, we are. One love above us all. One love in us all. One love through us all. We are one. Yes, we are one.
Come on, put your hands together. Make some noise. Woo! We are one in the spirit. We are one in love. We are one in the spirit. We are one. One love. One love above us all. One love in us all. One love through us all. We are one. Yeah. Yes, we are. One love above us all. One love in us all. One love through us all. We are one. Yes, we are one. Yeah. 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 One love. God loves us all. One race. That's the human race. Grab your brother and sister by the hand. Let's walk in love and unity while we can. One unity first. There is one love, one spirit. We're one. One love, one spirit. We're one. Raising my hand, they're not of this fold. Let the wheat and the tares grow together, and the truth will separate. We are one. Woo! Yes, we are one. Follow me. We're one.
We're one.
One. Everybody receive a deep breath. Give it back. Isn't that yummy? Hey, did I see a t-shirt that says yummy? Did I see a t-shirt that says yummy? Hold on a sec. There we go. Yeah, y'all getting crazy with this stuff now. See, stuff I say showing up on t-shirts, showing up on memes. I'm like, I better watch what I say. Dude, when you took off on that guitar solo, I almost ruptured a disc. I was like, That was so good. We're so glad to have you. I'm just having fun. I'm having the time of my life. I am having the time of my life. This is all good. Look, I know this is not on the script, but everybody smile. Now send a smile to somebody else and look at them and say, oh my God, you are gorgeous. You're amazing. You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are prosperous. You're healthy. You're wealthy. You are wise. You are one with God. Never separate. You're one with me. And I love you. Now come on, touch and agree. High five somebody. Tell them you're glad to see them. Come on, maybe step up and hug somebody's neck. Greet somebody you haven't talked to yet. Let's spend just a little moment together celebrating. Those who are joining us online, we want to welcome you in. We want you to know that you're a part of this community, even though you may be virtual today. We love you as a part of our family. First Unity Spiritual Campus welcomes you wherever you're watching around the world. We ask you to type in the comments. Just let us know that you're watching. Type in "We Are One." Type in "We Are One Love." Type in "We Are One Heart" and celebrate together. We welcome you into this place. Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Isn't it good to just be able to have fun? Thank you. Thank you so much. Isn't it good to be able to have fun? Just enjoy your life. It's a good thing. My name is John Scott. At least that's what they tell me. This is my provisional identity. And I'm honored to be with you here as a spiritual leader along with all of you. That's right, every one of us spiritual leaders. And I ask you if you don't mind silencing your phone if you haven't done so already. If you're a first-time visitor with us online, as I asked a moment ago, just type in where you're watching from. We want to welcome you. And in fact, we're going to ask our local group here to welcome you. Let's welcome all of our live streamers, everybody who's watching around the world. You are a part of us. I'm going to ask also for our ushers and spiritual support team to come forward now. For anybody who might be with us for the very first time, if you feel comfortable doing so, just lift your hand up. We'd love to bring to you a gift and a get acquainted card. And so our ushers and spiritual support team are right now coming and bringing that to you. Anybody lift your hand up if you, all right. All right. Well, we have a couple of folks that are bringing. Okay. We're going to bring you a gift, I promise. It's on its way to you. And at the end of the service, if you don't mind turning that card in at the back desk, that would be awesome. So that we can just have a record of you being with us. We're not going to spam you, I promise. On Sundays here on the campus, we have a 9 o'clock chapel service that goes on in our chapel, especially as hot as Florida is right now. Anybody know what I'm talking about? No? You walk outside, you stand still, and you sweat. At 10:30, we have our meditation. 11 o'clock, we have our celebration service right here, and that's what you're a part of here today. And I just want to also remind you that the chapel service is graduating to a devotional service starting August the 6th. In this room, we will kick off our devotional service at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Yes, we're going to 2 services, so you have options. If the beach is calling your name around noon and you don't want to stay longer than noon in here, come to the 8:30 service. You know, anybody know what I'm talking about? If you want to sleep in because you need some extra Gatorade from the night before, 11 o'clock might be your choice. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Act like you don't. Anyway, wanted to let you know that that's happening because we're growing. Here we grow. Somebody say, here we grow. Here we grow. Together. Also, we were put in Facebook jail for various reasons, and so we decided to build a new Facebook page. They can't keep us down. It's first with the number 1, First Unity Spiritual Campus. So if you don't mind going and liking that page so that we can populate the page so that you can get all of our information that goes by way of that social media platform. All right? All right? Everybody good with that? All right, here we come at the First Unity Spiritual Voices. Let's keep the celebration going.
Good morning, First Unity. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate life. Let's say yes to spirit. Let's say yes to life. Wait a minute. Bring it back. Wait a minute.
Spirit say yes, nobody can say no.
When 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 Spirit say yes, nobody can say no.
'Cause God's in control, there's no limit to what you can do. 'Cause it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you. You're almighty and all powerful, and it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs. Hey, there's no limit to what you can do. 'Cause it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you. You're almighty, all powerful. Yes, it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you. Wait a minute. Bring it back. Wait a minute. Bring it back. Wait a minute. Bring it back. Wait a minute. Sing it, voices.
When Spirit say yes,
Nobody can say no.
when Spirit say yes, nobody can say no. Spirit say yes, nobody can say no.
No, 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 no.
Say yes,
Nobody can say no.
when Spirit say yes, nobody can say no. When Spirit say yes, nobody can say no. Spirit say yes, nobody can say
No,
no.
no, no, no.
Say yes, nobody can say no.
I know God's in me. I know He's with me. I know she's with me. I know God's with me. God bless you.
We have a very vibrant program that always says yes, our Youth Expressing Spirit program, and a special thanks to Jen, who is the program facilitator, who with her creativity puts together this montage so we can see what the kids are doing upstairs while we are here listening to Reverend John. Who wouldn't say yes to that? Going upstairs, right? So today, everything they do is sensory. They're going to be working on a table mural today. So this is the time that the kids want to get out of here. So yes, you want to get out of here, kids? You have to answer. I have to hear why yes. You want to get out of here? Yes. All right, so these are where our children, I'm going to invite all of our children who have joined us here today to walk back. You will find Jen at the back. So you are now released. You may go. They are so excited about all of their sensory painting. They're going to be doing things with food and s'mores. Play is our children's work. And the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play, in fact, is depression in adults. So we are all invited to play. So now, as we bless the children as they're now going upstairs, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, maybe place your hand on your heart. And so we bless our children for the creativity, for the light that is within them. We see them, we bless them, we love them. We encourage them to let their creativity always flow, knowing that this is their work Their play is creativity, spirit expressing through each and every one of them. And so it is. Our kids are blessed. We bless their play. And so it is. And let's find out what we can do as adults. Our play here during the week, our campus news.
Happy Sunday, First Unity family. Carrie Bell Scott here, and this is your campus news. Starting August 6th, our devotional service will replace our chapel service and is moving to the sanctuary starting at 8:30 a.m. No live stream or Yes program will be available for this service. Our artists for the month of July, Cassandra Cole, works are displayed and for sale in the hallway. Please support her artistry. Visit our website for more information on how to get involved in our partnership with Pinellas County Child Welfare System, Fostering Hope. We are collecting school supplies, book bags, and monetary donations through July 27th. Please deposit the items in the receptacle in the lobby. Monetary donations are accepted at the box office after service. We will distribute all items on July 29th during our annual book bag bash. Gifts of Spirit class level 1 is continuing on Mondays throughout July at 7 p.m. in room 300. Dive deeper into unlocking your spiritual gifts and calling with Marlene Stovall. Please register online or at the box office. A Course in Miracles discussion group meets every Tuesday at 7 p.m. in our lobby. Every Wednesday, we have a noon meditation with Reverend Dr. Aileen Curtin and 6 p.m. evening meditations with various facilitators, sound bath artists, and Reiki practitioners. This Wednesday, Janan Talifer will facilitate the evening meditation, accompanied by sound bowls. Join us here in the sanctuary for either of our meditations. The Journeyman Men's Group meets weekly on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. in room 301. Soul Sisters Women Group meets every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. in room 300. Living Green Market is Sunday, July 16th, along our main entrance from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Heart Opening Yoga and Cacao is Tuesday, July 18th at 6 p.m. under the purple tent. Please register online. The Power of Self-Worth Workshop with Les Ambush is Tuesday, July 18th at 6:30 p.m. in room 301. Please register online. Also, please park and enter the room from the 4th Street side of the building near Wings. Support our t-shirt fundraiser that spreads our message of love after service today. Shirts start at $25 each. Stop by our concession stand after service today for a yummy treat. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Make it a great week because you can.
Whatever you do in this season,
To go into the sacred part of our service, we ask that you prepare your minds and your hearts for a moment of meditation with Dr. Aileen Kurt.
So during this sacred centering time, we will now include and acknowledge all prayer intentions from our prayer box located at the back of the sanctuary, and also acknowledge, affirm, and include all prayer intentions from you, our beloved online viewers. And just a reminder for all of you here present with me today that those of us that wear pink stoles or maybe purple stoles are always available for you for confidential prayer, to hold sacred space with you for whatever it is that you might need after the service. And a reminder to know that there are many services we offer here, and I offer one every Wednesday at noon here in the sanctuary. And there are many, many other choices. So we have lots of opportunities here at First Unity. We very much affirm the power of prayer and meditation. And just like the song said, God, don't do it without me. The reality is, God is always waiting for us. We are the ones that never stop or become still long enough to stop and listen and wait. So I invite you now in a place where we can stop and wait, listen maybe to the God of your understanding. Maybe you prefer another word, another label. It matters not what you label this energy, whether you call this energy by any name, matters not. So I invite you now to close your outer eyes, or maybe keep them at a soft gaze. And just find that place within you with your breath. Just allowing your body temple, the back of your body, to be supported by the back of the chair, becoming aware if you need to shift or wiggle or move. Just allow your body temple to rest, to relax. And maybe allow spaces for quiet. Maybe noticing sensations in your body here today. As you scan your body, starting at the top of your head and moving down, becoming aware of any tightness, maybe soreness, maybe pain. Whatever sensations your body is communicating to you today, pay attention, maybe send your exhale breath to these areas of your body. And inhaling deeply through your nose and out through your mouth as you follow your breath, taking you to the quiet place where the God of your understanding is always waiting for you. Stay with your breath, following the inhale breath and the exhale breath. This is the breath that will take you to the quiet place within you. Maybe noticing if you need to place a hand over your abdomen, another over your heart. Maybe noticing within each inhale breath that you can expand and fill up with light, with love, with peace. And then as you slowly exhale your breath, maybe exhaling through your nose or your mouth, knowing that this is the presence and the peace of the God of your understanding that is guiding you breath by breath. Just allow this breath here to become known to you. This is your internal GPS system that will guide you to the place within you. This breath is self-medicating, self-meditating, because you are now bringing your awareness and attention inside yourself. Now, as you're turning within with each exhale breath, beginning to feel the peace of God, the peace of Spirit. As you breathe in and out, maybe noticing now that every nerve in your mind, in your body is soothed. And perhaps now your mind is swept clean of any confusion. This is how close Spirit is to you. You are this breath. You are this essence. You are this Spirit. Nowhere to go. No need to be anywhere else. Everything you need is right here. I now focus on the presence of God, the presence of Spirit. This is my source of life and living. Breathe this in and out as you expand your abdomen, your rib cage filling up. Now here in the quiet sanctuary of my soul, I feel and experience God. Continue to stay here for about another minute or so without my words. Keep on following the breath of life. As you rest here, feeling yourself enveloped and surrounded by unconditional love. Maybe you have an ask, maybe you have a need to be quiet to listen. So take another minute here to pray your way, to listen your way. Acknowledging now to yourself, no person or circumstances can disrupt the peace I now feel in this quiet place within me. This is my refuge, my sanctuary. When I come inside myself, renew and restore, and connect to Spirit, to the God of my understanding. So another few more breaths here, make them long and deliberate. As you now begin to slowly return from the sacred sanctuary within you, allowing a smile to come over your face, as you know the way inside is always here, knowing that God and Spirit is always waiting here for you. Slowly now, as you begin to bring awareness back to your body, bring awareness back to the space you're sitting in, keeping your eyes closed as you return from your sacred internal sanctuary to this outer sanctuary here in this moment. Take a moment to notice how calm your body is, how peaceful your mind is. And as you breathe in and out, how renewed, refreshed, and revitalized you feel in this moment. Slowly now, maybe beginning to open up your eyes as you look around the room. Maybe acknowledging the Spirit, the light that you see in all those around you. Just take a moment as you begin to slowly open up your eyes. Just being aware of this feeling. This is always here when we take this time to come inside ourselves. We bow our heads and we honor one another as we say together, Namaste.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that rescued a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I've already come. 'Tis grace that's brought me safe this far. And grace will lead me on. My chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, Creator, has ransomed me. And like a flood, mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. God has promised good to me. That word my hope secures. That word will my shield and portion be. As long as life endures, my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, Creator, has ransomed me. And like a flood, mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Let's play one now. Yeah, my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, Creator, has ransomed me. And like a flood, mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Unending love, amazing grace. I'm so glad I found out it's all love. Such amazing grace. He likes that. How's everybody feeling? Somebody said to me one time, said, you changed the words to that. I said, I sure did. My chains are gone. There is nothing that God is doing now or has ever done that is being done without us being the conduit for that flow to flow through. It's amazing grace. And grace is not the thing that saves you from your sins. Grace is that favor that is poured out on you. It's that spark of divinity that was in you before you even showed up here in human form. That's the power of grace, and that grace dwells within you. The only thing we need to be saved from is our own minds. And I don't mind. I don't mind if that happens. Anybody else? How many find your mind just doing all kinds of crazy stuff to you? Anybody else? Hey, you know what's cool about that? If you're aware of it, it means you're conscious. High five 2 or 3 people and tell them, I thought you was woke. I wasn't sure, but I thought you was woke up. I thought you were awake. We're in a season right now and in a series called Conscious Keys for Living a Creative, not in capital letters, not reactive life. How many maybe found yourself, honestly, reacting to something this week? Same. Because stuff happens. And apparently shift happens. Holy shift. So I'm sitting in my office this week, and I get this sudden urge. This Bible verse comes to mind. So today, fair warning for everyone who doesn't really like the Bible or you feel triggered by the Bible, just know that this guy here comes from 3 generations Pentecostal preachers. Ha! Not just preachers, but Pentecostals. Ha! I mean, these Pentecostals took lessons in seminary for elective. They got special points for it. So the Bible is, for me, is a big foundation. I was memorizing scripture before I could talk well. And they didn't know the difference because they all spoke in tongues anyway. So even if you got that? Yeah, that was just for you, Skylar. So, but this scripture came to mind. So I read the Bible differently than I used to. If you read the Bible, how many of you still read the Bible occasionally? Or you look at scripture verses in the Bible? Okay, all 5 of us, cool. So, but you're familiar with the Bible, and you're probably familiar with the reality that the Bible around here, for us, we don't worship the Bible. We honor its space in history and in time, but we don't worship the Bible. You're the Word of God. You're the walking, talking Word of God. The Bible points to us, in some places, points to the greater reality of who we truly are. But for some, it has just become a triggering mechanism because it was used. I don't know about you folks, but I was raised in the Bible Belt, and they used the buckle on me a couple of times. I mean, and the belt for sure. So I know what it's like to be triggered a little bit by Scripture, but this Scripture kept coming to mind, and so in just a few moments I'm going to get to this. So I'm giving you a disclaimer that the Bible might show up today. That's with a V. That's a South Georgia thing, sorry. They don't say Bible, they say Bible. So it may show up in a few minutes, but it's going to be in reference to what I want to call today, Light Your World. And I want to talk to you just a little bit about kind of what began to unfold in me. See, physically, light is what you see when you wake up in the morning and the sun is shining. But mystically, light is what you see when you awaken to your authentic, spiritual, eternal, essential self. So mystically, that light is different than what we see in with our physical eyes. It's the illumination that makes everything become more clear. How many can point to a space and time in your life where there was an aha moment? Anybody? Some of you may have called it a born-again experience. If you went to Christian church, you maybe would have called it. Some people call it conversion. Some people call it confirmation. There's different things that people call it. But it's that sort of that moment when you wake up to, oh man, there's something even greater than where I'm at right now. Anybody had that experience? All right. So this light that I'm talking about is the illuminating light of truth that shines even in the darkest night. It is what illuminates your whole being, even in the darkest and strongest storms. It is that light that brings forth truth in the midst of your lies, or the lies that you're telling yourself or are being told around you. It's the healing in the midst of your disease. It's the abundance in the worst kind of famine. It is the light that lights up the whole universe. The sun itself only gets its energy from the light I'm talking about, which is the light of creative source force that dwells within you, through you, and as you. It's the illuminating power of God that is within you. You're never separate from it. It's never absent from you. You might not have your attention on it, but that light is always shining into your life. In fact, it is the light that gives life. Anybody feel that? So I did a little something. I sat down with John chapter 1. Before I get to that, I want to share this quote with you. Your path is illuminated by the light, yet darkness lets the stars shine bright. Because here's a warning. Don't curse the darkness just because you're looking for the light to shine. You need the darkness to give you contrast, otherwise you wouldn't know how beautiful light is. Light is a beautiful thing because you recognize that you've been at a dark place. Many of us have gone through the dark night of the soul, and we found out there wasn't a night light there. If you've ever been through those moments, but it gives you a deep appreciation for what? For light. So be the light while remembering that darkness is necessary as well. It's not a curse. It can be a blessing. You can choose to see it as a curse, but it can be the greatest blessing. Look, some of the worst times of my life, I'm air quoting, some of the worst times of my life were actually the best moments of my life that pushed me through the womb to be born again into another life existence. Look back over your life and realize, this is one of the reasons we used to sing songs about when I look back over my life and I see what God's brought me through. Many doors, many windows, many gateways to a new existence. So stop cursing the darkness, just turn on the light. Just choose to be the light. Somebody say, I choose to be light. See, this could go a couple different ways. One, I could choose to lose some weight, to be a little lighter. What I mean is losing weight of your doubts, your limitations, and the conditionings that have kept you bogged down and keep you from exercising the truth of who you are and becoming quite muscular in your spiritual self. That's a good weight loss program. Look at somebody, tell them, man, lighten up. So I started looking at this Bible verse, and it was John chapter 1. Now, this may not mean anything to some of you, but I was a student of the Bible for most of my life. And then when I went to seminary, I know that joke still, sometimes people still laugh about that, and others are like, you wearing that one out. You really are killing it. Anyway, sorry. Now pop the popcorn, you know. Okay, so I was a student of the Bible, and when I went to seminary, I went into seminary and I studied theology, systematic theology, and I studied world history, or world religion history, and I studied ministry as just another portion of that, sort of a minor. But I majored in theology because I thought one day I might become a theologian. That I would be able to say all of the fancy stuff and have people impressed by my pontification ability. You know? And I learned, you know, Bill, you can appreciate this. I learned my Hebrew. I learned a couple of Hebrew words, and I could say them actually quite well. You know, it sounded like I was spitting when I said it. And I learned some Greek words, and I could say them all in one sentence. And people were impressed. Saying all that to say you could take my master's in theology and a quarter and can't even buy a cup of coffee anymore. But it did lead me down the path to some things I was not aware were available to me. People ask me, they say, John, what happened to you? And I said, well, I studied. I looked for some stuff, at least I couldn't find in there that I had been told all of my life was in there. I couldn't find it. But I did find some pretty neat stuff. So this is what I'm calling the mystical translation, or the JS, this guy named John Scott. This JS mystical translation of the prologue of John's gospel. Now, somebody said, you had the audacity to translate the Bible? Yeah. I thought it was going to go over better. Yeah. Somebody else did before I got to it. So I decided to pull out the Kibboris manuscripts. I decided to pull out some Aramaic. Because really, Aramaic is what Jesus spoke. He spoke Aramaic, and Aramaic was the birthing language of Hebrew. Okay, so it was a very indigenous language. And this is Jesus speaking. Jesus' mother was Ethiopian. And Joseph was from Nazareth, or from Bethlehem originally, but lived in Nazareth at the time of the proclamation of his life, that he was going to become basically the bonus dad of God, according to the narrative. So I went and I started looking up these scriptures, and I found that this is what rolled out to me, and like 3 hours later, I was sitting there in front of it. Only 14 verses, and I had spent like 3 hours on this. And let's begin here. Verse 1. In the beginning, the Word. This word here in Greek is logos, but this word in Hebrew and Aramaic is a different word that I will not say to you today because I can't actually pronounce it. But it means intelligence. So in the beginning, intelligence already existed. So before time could be calculated and formed in any kind of way to touch it, intelligence already existed. And the word intelligence was with God, and the intelligence was God. So the intelligence is not a person. The intelligence is a principle or an energy. This is a powerful thing because we put God into the personality so much that we make God in our own image instead of realizing it's the converse. We were created in God's image. Even the Essenes knew this, and the Essenes were the ones who really translated a lot of the New Testament. So the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the next verse. This divine intelligence existed in the beginning with God. Number 3. God created everything through divine intelligence. And nothing was created except through this intelligence. The word intelligence gave life to everything that was created. And the life brought light to everyone. No one excluded. To everyone. The light shines even in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. It cannot overcome the light. I'm saying no matter what your darkest time is, nothing can overcome the light. No matter how big the storm is, nothing can overcome the divinity that's within you. This light dwells within you. All you have to do is turn it on. Now, God sent a man, John the Baptist, to tell about the light, the illumination and the revelation, so that everyone might believe because of his testimony. See, this is all I'm doing. As a minister, all I'm doing is testifying to what I've experienced myself. Because I know that what I share with you is the truth, because it literally boils within my being. It burns in my bones. And every time I say, I am the Christ, the Son of the living God, I am the Buddha, the presence that is real in this earth, I am God in the flesh. Every time I say it, when I first started saying it, my brain would get all twitchy because it thought I was being blasphemous. But the truth is that is your essence. You are God in the flesh. Is it okay for us can I teach a little today? Because a lot of times I'm up here talking. A lot of times I'm up here cutting jokes because some of the stuff I say is pretty heavy. So I'm trying to give you, that old, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. But when I ask you, God, that brought back some memories I don't want to remember. My sister We had one television, only we had one television at a time, and we had multiple TVs because every time an evangelist would come through town and say that the devil's going to deceive you with a TV, my parents would get rid of it. And then about a year later, when that wore off, they'd buy another one. But my sister loved Mary Poppins. So that's the memory. I saw a woman with an umbrella flying and the spoonful of medicine mixed. Anyway. So I say funny stuff a lot of times to help us to digest this stuff because most of us in this room don't actually believe we are the God presence. We've been taught the opposite. We've been taught what we can't do. We've been taught our limitations, and we celebrate our limitations. Isn't it true? We celebrate our limitations. As soon as somebody compliments us, we try to talk them out of it. Oh my gosh, that outfit looks great. Oh, this old thing. I mean, well, you know, I bought this at Goodwill, so don't, you know, God willing, I'll be able to continue to go. You know, I mean, we talk people out of it. Oh, you know, well, I woke up the other day and I had extra white hairs and I just don't. As soon as somebody compliments us, it's almost like this deprecation thing. We've been trained to not know our divine selves. And I'll tell you this, the moment a group this size wakes up to the reality of the God presence that's within, nothing will be able to hold it back. We'll literally put the planet on tilt. And see, Lisa, when I talk about this stuff, one of the reasons I get so excited and sound like a Pentecostal preacher is because I'm literally excited about this. This is celebration for me. I believe it's true. I'm quite possibly the craziest person you've ever met in your life. I really believe that this is the case. So that everyone might believe because of his testimony. That's what I'm hoping, is that as I'm sharing this testimony, that maybe somebody will believe, because belief is just mental assent. It has nothing to do with knowing. But once you know, you can mentally ascend to it through believing it. Verse 8, John himself, he did not own the entire illumination. He was simply witnessing, or the witness to tell about the light. The one who is the true light, original illumination, who gives light to everyone, was already present and waking up the world to its own nature. See, John was just telling something that he was experiencing within himself, but the light already existed and was already waking everyone up to their own nature. Pat yourself in the chest and say, I'm waking up. I'm waking up. I'm waking up. I'm waking up. This source essence came into the very world it created. But the world, cosmos, cosmetic of its time, didn't recognize its own source. This source came to its own species, and even they, through ignorance, rejected it. Sound familiar? We're still doing that. In fact, we're promoting it, the rejection of it. Folks are still trying to get saved from those petty sins that somebody preached against. Instead of being distracted by all of that garbage, instead of being distracted by the weapons of mass distraction, allow yourself to really embody the truth of what this is. The light source dwells within you. You are not a stinking, no good, dirty, low down sinner. You're not. You're not. You're not inherently evil. You're inherently good. There's not something wrong with you. There's everything right about you. God, if I could make you see what I've been able to see at the mountaintop. There's nothing wrong with you. The power of God is within you. In every part of your being, you're perfect. You're awesome. You're complete. You say, yes, but. No, get your butt out of the way. Get off your assets and start using them. But to all who believed in this source energy and accepted it, was released the benefit of all rights as children of God. To everyone who believes, it will be released every benefit that you have. God is your father, your mother. You are an offspring of the very presence of God. They were reborn. Not with a physical birth, resulting from human passion or even a plan, but a birth that comes from divine source, God. I like this right here. So the word intelligence became flesh, tangible, and available in human form, and made its home among us. This is why you need me and I need you. This is why we need each other, because the kingdom appears among us. We are a chosen generation, a holy priesthood, a people who are set apart to know our true, authentic selves. We are a part. The reason we're here for the shaking and the quaking and the sifting and the shifting that's going on right now is because we are a called, ordained generation of people that are here to usher in the highest level of consciousness that has ever been tangibly felt in the history of the human race. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. You keep asking, why did I show up in this time? You keep asking, why is there so much struggle? You keep asking, why is there so much oppression and so much fear? And why are we seeing resurgence of old inequalities? And why are we seeing resurgence of what we thought were old hatreds? We're seeing it all be pushed to the top so it can be scraped aside so that what is left is the creme de la creme. Because see, if it's in you, you want it out. See, it's a toxin in the body of humanity that's being pushed out. That's why we're experiencing the feverish hate. Woo! I'm talking to somebody in here. Ha! That was my elective work right there. Look at this. It brought with it unfailing love. Somebody say unfailing love. And faithfulness. And we have seen its magnificence and beauty. The magnificence and the beauty of the fathers or mothers, the origin, and the one and only son or daughter, offspring, which is Christ consciousness. Now hold just a moment. The reason I kept the word father is because in the original language, it's what we saw. It was the father, the seed giver. That's what it was in the original language. But you got to understand something. We need to drop these pronouns when it pertains to God. Because God is neither male nor female, and yet shows up evidently in both. And it's pretty cool because we see some of what's going on in our world today. There's folks walking around with both. And I was like, wait a minute, good God, look at that. In the same vessel. But stay with me. Let's go back just to that last one. The one and only son, offspring. I was going to say I don't want to be blasphemous, but I already have heretic written at the foot of a cross. How much more blasphemous can you get? This is not talking about Jesus. In fact, this whole chapter is not talking about Jesus until you get on further down to about verse 17. Jesus is not even brought up. Am I messing with you? Because this is not about Jesus. When it speaks of the Son, it's talking about the prototype. It's talking about the DNA. It's talking about that infusion of the childhood from the offspring. That is you, my friend. You are the son or the daughter of God. This is not talking about Jesus. This is talking about the Christ essence that dwells within every human being, that before you even arrived here in human form, you already were in the bosom and in the mind and in the heart of God, and you just happened to show up in this structure form called humanity. Son or offspring is not Jesus, because when it talks about only begotten, one and only, the reason it mentions it is because there's only one. There's no separation. There's no division. It all is at the same time in all places, all at once. There's a movie about that. Everywhere, all at once, whatever the movie was. But when I saw this, bro, in every language, this is dealing with something beyond Jesus' person. This is dealing with Christ consciousness. And so I looked for a definition of Christ consciousness. Paramahansa Yogananda was a great one. And so that next slide, if you don't mind. Christ consciousness is known as the highest state of development and the most powerful cosmic force of love and wisdom. It's Christ consciousness. Now, this is according to Paramahansa Yogananda. That Christ consciousness is that very thing. If you don't mind, go back to the last slide. And the one just before that. Christ consciousness is known as the highest state of development. Somebody say, I'm in development. But do you feel it? Do you feel the tug and the pull? Do you feel it? I know today's a little different. Just hang tight with me. Do you feel the tug and the pull and sort of the tension and a little bit of the stress in the world? Do you feel some of that? Because we're in development. My brother John here has a wonderful gym downtown, Suncoast Fitness. And when people are in development, there's a little soreness in there. If you put people through training, what happens? Do you ever have any of them quit? Okay, the first time I went to a gym, I weighed 273 pounds. I weighed 273 pounds when I first went to a gym. I knew I needed to make a change. My mother was going through 5 bypass surgery. They had to do 5 bypasses. The doctor, when Dr. Cole Glazier came out, he said, this is all I can do. I've done everything I can do. I've bypassed every major artery. I've bypassed it all. This is all I can do. Ma'am, this is going to be up to you whether you have a quality of life. Because medically done what I can do. I knew I needed to shift. I had to make a change. So I walk into a gym, 273 pounds, didn't know what in the world I was doing. I knew what a barbell looked like, but I was scared to death of how to use it. You ever been intimidated? Anybody? That's why you have some no intimidation gyms now, but I walked in, I was very intimidated. I'm aging myself here. This is 25 years ago, so a long time ago. And that trainer almost killed me. For the next 4 days, every piece of my body was sore, including the piece of skin in the back of my throat. And I did not go back. I'm saying that to say when you're in development, there's going to be some soreness. But the beauty is that here you'll be loved through the process, not beaten up as you go through the process. We understand that we need to take steps in increments, and we need to move toward it in increments here. But I want you to understand that if you're not looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. You are the light. In your tunnel and at the end of your tunnel. The light is already within you. You are in development. Somebody say, I'm in development. So Christ consciousness is known as the highest state of development or the full unfoldment. And then next. And it's the most powerful cosmic force of love and wisdom. So here's what I decided. This is just for me. I'm going to share it with you. That's really what I do on Sundays, by the way. Okay? This stuff comes to me. I don't sit down to put talks together. I know how to put sermons together. Ugh. It's so just like, that's not what I do anymore. I write stuff down as it's coming to me, as it's flowing to me. So this is what I decided. Number 1, shining bright is my choice. Shining bright is my choice. Nobody else's choice. I get to shine my light. And here's the deal. I don't shine my light in comparison to other lights. How many know there are some lights that are, I don't know all of the terms because I'm an inferior decorator. But there's soft light, there's bright light, there's warm light, there's cold light, there's photography light. There's these lights that if they were not anything but LED, I'd be getting a tan every week. There's lights that are really, really bright. They have spotlights that are spotters are way on back, and you can get somebody in the beam of that light. And then you have lights where there are multiple lights in one light fixture. How many know what I'm talking about? And I have never, somebody say never. I have never heard one light bulb in another fussing with another light bulb about its light. It's just doing what it do. It's plugged in. It's illuminating at the level it was built to illuminate. So everybody in this room, you were built to illuminate your world to the level you were built to illuminate. All I'm asking is that you plug in where you're supposed to plug in and flip the switch, because you're the light that the world needs for this time in history. Otherwise, you would not be here right now at this time in history. So for God's sake, turn on your light. Help a brother out up in here. So I choose to be the brightest light that I can be, and I do that by doing what I'm called to do, but everybody's called to something different. Believe me, I've tried my best to drop this calling off. Multiple times. I'm not joking when I say it. Yes, I'm the most fulfilled right now in what I'm doing. Yes. But sometimes, as I grow spiritually, I just want to shut up and sit down. When we're having the meditation, Reverend Aileen, you get the meditation going, I get high, man. I'm there. Ooh. And then it's like, man, now I got to go do my thing. I want to stay here and buzz the rest of the day. Talk about a buzzkill. Every once in a while, that's what it... But my point is that I know that I shine the brightest when I'm doing what I'm called to do. And you shine the brightest when you're doing what you're called to do. So if it's singing, sing. If it's dancing, dance. If it's welding, weld. If it's training people, train people. If it's yoga, do the yoga. If it's whatever it might be, but shine your light in the world. Your unique, beautiful light. Remember, sometimes you may be the only light in the room. But then there are other times that you're a part of multiple lights. The key is to just do your part. The key is to do your part. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, he's got me talking to you again. It's not my fault, it's his. Just do your part. Just do your part. All right. The key is to do your part and not anyone else's part. So I decided, I won't hide my light. Look, I take heat sometimes because I don't hide my light. I catch it sometimes. Sometimes I catch hell and heaven all in the same email. You know when you open up an email and there's 14,000 scripture verses, you may as well move along because you've caught the devil and God all in the same doggone email. I learned a while back not to read. Just don't read. Just don't. It's going to take you 3 days to read it. They wrote a novel, and they're all ticked at you anyway. That's why they put scripture verses in there. But I won't hide my light. Look, I know people say that John Scott's crazy. He actually believes that he's God walking around in the flesh. How arrogant of him. Let me tell you something. If you don't believe you're God walking around in the flesh, that's fine. You don't have to believe it, but I've chosen to believe it, and I've found that in my life, it doesn't make you more arrogant. It actually makes you more humble and makes you more available to serve because you know who you truly are instead of being an imposter in the world. No, and here's the deal. When I'm saying this to everybody, I know that there's the twitches. I used to have them too, and now I've gotten past the twitches. It is not blasphemy to declare who you are. This is not relegated to me. I'm not a special person. I'm talking to God lights right here too. In fact, pat yourself on the chest. Oh man, I'm going to make you do it. Pat yourself on the chest and say, I am the Christ, a child of the living God. I am the Buddha nature, walking here, right now. I'll take nothing less than the best, because I deserve it. Boom. That's my punctuations. Boom. No one can decide for me who I'm going to be, and I will not hide my light just so somebody else doesn't feel uncomfortable. But this light must come from the inside. You can't ask the darkness to leave. Don't ask the darkness to leave. Don't curse it. Just allow the light to shine. You must turn on your light. You must turn on your light. Somebody say, I'm getting turned on. Yummy. Every light has an on switch. What's yours? Because it could be something different. Number 2, I'm not going to blind anyone else with my light. Or number 3, I'm not going to blind anyone else with my light. Okay, and what I mean is that I'm going to have grace with people. You ever had one of those moments where you're dealing with something pretty heavy and somebody comes along and they just want to start encouraging you, but at that moment, you kind of feel like, was it Terry, what was the name of the country artist that did this song that said, I just want to be mad a little while or something like that? Have you ever had one of those moments and somebody wants to talk you out of how you feel? No, none of you? I'm going to shine my light, but I'm not going to do it attempting to harm someone else or blind someone else with my light. In fact, sometimes grace is a lampshade. You ever been in a room where there's no lampshade on the lamp? And you look at the light and all your vision gets out of focus? You know what the lampshade's for? To illuminate the room without blinding people. So there is sometimes that grace and my ability to just be with someone instead of trying to instruct them on how they need to crawl out of their hole, sometimes just being with someone is me saying, I'm going to shine my light to illuminate your environment, but I'm not going to blind you with it. Ego is blinding. Spirit is illumination. I will shine brightly, but I'm not going to blind others. My motives will be pure. And let's move on to the next one. Let's go to the next point, actually. Or we can do the quotes. As we work to create light for others, we will naturally light our own way. Isn't that beautiful? And so, lastly, what I wanted to point out, is that the last? Okay, can we go back up then? This is cool. I'm not worried about interruptions. Let's go back up. I will shine my light. I have decided to shine my light to help others. I choose to be a light as a service to other people. I choose to light my world because the world needs my light. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. So let's take just a moment, if you would. I'm going to invite you right now to just sit up straight again, maybe straighten the spine. I know we've gotten really comfortable in this time together, and I've held you far longer than I should have. Today was a little different. What's new? I invite you to straighten that spine just a moment, and maybe pull the shoulders down away from the ears, just allowing them to sort of rest. Maybe your hands can rest in your lap. You can rest them in your lap with the hands open to receive. I surrender to the truth, and the truth is making me free. I surrender to the process that is making my light become bright. I surrender and rest into the reality that I am the God presence in the world. I refuse to dim my light so that others won't be uncomfortable. But I also choose to light up my world to be a service to humanity. I will let this light shine through me. I'm going to invite you, as you take a deep breath in just a moment, to visualize a light switch in front of you. And on the inhale, allow yourself to hear almost as if it's being plugged in. And on the exhale, flip the switch. So on the inhale, allow yourself to see that light switch, but hear it. You know what it sounds like when something is plugged in and receives power. Allow it to be plugged in. And then on the exhale, flip the switch. And if you need to do the movement, you need to reach out and use your hand to flip the switch, do that. Whatever it takes. But we're going to receive a deep breath in. And we're going to listen to it being plugged in. It's already plugged in, but this is an exercise to hear that the source energy, we're going to complete the circuit, and the source energy is running to that switch. On the exhale, we're going to flip that switch. You say, is it that easy? Yes, it's that easy. It's that easy. And then don't let your doubts and your limitations and your lack shut the switch off. Preparing now for a deep breath. In through the nose, breathe in. Feel the connection. And exhale with a sigh. One more time, and then this time flip that switch. Breathe in. Feel the connection. And exhale. And if you would just declare this with me, I choose to be the light in my world. Right here, right now. And so it is. And so it is. Look around you at all these lights. Send some love. How beautiful. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. And so it is. And we haven't done this yet today. Would you declare this with me? Love is who I am. Gratitude is my attitude. Abundance is my nature. Well-being is my birthright. Smile like you believe it's true. Now I'm going to ask if our ushers will come forward and spiritual support team preparing now to receive the offerings. And listen, I want to say thank you for being a sustaining partner for this campus. Thank you for choosing to give here. I believe this is fertile soil to sow into. I believe this is a wonderful place. I love it. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I appreciate you loving it as well. We have so much great work to do in the world, and I appreciate you being a part of it. There's so many different ways to give. If you look up on the screen now, you'll see there's a text to give. You can dial that number and just put in give and whatever amount you would like to give and hit send. And it'll give you the digital possibilities. You can go to the First Unity app and you can tap on the yellow heart. You can also go to firstunity.org/give. And you can decide to click on there and make it an auto give situation. If you have an amount that you have decided on that you'd like to give each month, you can do that. And you can change it at any time. You know, and MILLION is how you spell million, just so you know. But you can text the auto give, or you can mail your checks or money order to First Unity. Look, you can use the QR code on the plates. We've made it as easy as we can. The ushers and spiritual support team are going to do their best to give those plates to you slowly so that you can take time to scan that QR code. But I'm going to ask you, if you will, to stand, and let's do our abundance prayer together, and let's declare this today like we really, really, really mean it. The abundance of God is my infinite source. I now open my mind and my heart to give and to receive all God's good, all God's prosperity, all God's abundance. As God is my source, all things are possible, and so it is. Welcome, the voices back. Come on, y'all.
Come on, get your sway on. It's like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like the song. I want more of it, and that special feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. I breathe you in, I breathe you out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if I could ever go without. God will lift your name up high. 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 God will lift your name up like strawberries on a summer evening. Love is like the end of June. I want more of it, and that special feeling I get when I look to you. I breathe you in, I breathe you out. I don't know if I could ever go without. Yeah. God will lift your name up. God will lift your name up high. God will lift your name up high. God will lift summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more of it and that special feeling. I don't know if I could ever go. God, we lift your name up high, yeah. God, we lift your name up high. God, we lift your name up high. God, we lift your name up high. Oh, God, we lift your name up high. 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 I just wanna hear you. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. I just wanna hear you. I just wanna feel you. God, we lift your name up high. God, we lift your name up. All right, stand to your feet. We get ready.